Not gonna lie to you guys, I did see this movie a couple of weeks ago, to which I do apologize that this review is late, but ever since I saw this movie, I haven't stopped thinking about it because, god damn.
Hold up!
In my line of work, I have to be very careful. And that means knowing exactly who I am in business with.
So Da 5 Bloods is the latest film from Spike Lee, and in Da 5 Bloods, we follow a group of 4 Vietnam War veterans who are actually returning to Vietnam for 2 reasons. One of them being that they're there to find the body of one of their fellow soldiers played by Chadwick Boseman, and the other reason being that they're there to find a pile of gold that they had buried there ever since they had served during the Vietnam War. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Da 5 Bloods. Before I saw Da 5 Bloods, the only Spike Lee movie that I had seen up to that point was actually his remake of Oldboy, to which, not gonna lie to you guys, was not a fan. Although I have heard many, and I mean many, great things about Spike Lee as a filmmaker. I mean Do the Right Thing, BlacKkKlansman, to which I really did see both of those films, especially BlacKkKlansman, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he also did Malcolm X, if I remember correctly. But I finally saw Da 5 Bloods, and I really want to see the rest of Spike Lee's filmography now because, oh my god guys, Da 5 Bloods, this movie is terrific. First of all, getting right into the performances, everybody in Da 5 Bloods is absolutely incredible. There is not a single person in this movie that I feel like gave a performance that's still like a sore thumb, but obviously the 4 main leads are the ones that crush it the most. Now, I don't remember all of them. I remember 2 of them, I believe, are named Delroy Lindo and also Clark Peters, but I gotta remember the other 2 because I feel like if I didn't mention the other 2 actors in this movie, I'd be doing a huge disservice to them. And the other 2 actors that I gotta name, otherwise I feel like I'd be doing them a huge disservice, and they are Norm Lewis, who, by the way, if I'm thinking correctly, did he play Will Smith's dad in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in I think 1 or 2 episodes? And the other one being Isaiah Whitlock Jr. Seriously, all 4 of them are absolutely incredible, and something that I loved right out of the gate when it came to all 4 of them is that you can tell that their brotherhood is still strong, their bond is still there, the camaraderie is still very, very strong, they're cracking jokes to one another, they're being wise asses to one another. You can tell that they have been through hell and back, especially knowing that one of the goals of their mission is to not only find this pile of gold that they have buried, but to find the body of their dead comrade, played by Chadwick Boseman, by the way, is also terrific in this. And honest to God, guys, I'm not gonna lie, besides the writing and the brilliant directing by Spike Lee, to which, don't worry, I'll get into later, I really loved the performances. But honest to God, guys, if I were to choose my 2 standouts out of the 4 guys, it's easily Delroy Lindo and Clark Peters. Seriously. These 2 were absolutely on fire. But one thing I gotta say that I particularly loved about Delroy Lindo's character is that his character is a really tragic character because, I mean, now, I don't like to get into political stuff on my channel so much, but in this movie, I feel like it's necessary because of what his character does. But if you've seen the movie, you will all know that Delroy Lindo's character wears a MAGA hat. I didn't mind it being there so much because, once again, it's only there because his character in particular is so hateful. Like, for example, there are 2 scenes in this movie that broke my heart. One in particular into which he and his other troop members are on this boat and are going through this market. And at one certain point during the scene, there's this one guy that's just trying to sell this chicken to Delroy Lindo's character, and he is telling this guy no. Like, he has been telling this guy no straight up for like, what, a minute or so, and he is persistent on giving this character his chicken, and at one point Delroy Lindo just almost gets physical, and there's this huge fight that starts up, and then from that point on, the PTSD settles in on his character, and it shows one particular thing. What I loved about this movie even more so is that there are soldiers that have gone to war, they have gone through a lot of horrific actions, and when they go back home, it's not as simple as washing their hands to forget about the horrific events that have transpired to them. When they go home, they take that stuff with them. For a character like that to have such a hateful character go back to the place where they have such horrific stuff happen to them, they're confronting their demons. And honestly, there was another scene besides that one scene in which Delroy Lindo's character is just infuriated, he's livid, he's pissed off, he walks away, and he's crying. And it was a scene that, not gonna lie, made me tear up as well. And like I had mentioned to you guys beforehand, Clark Peters as well is absolutely terrific. He has a scene in this movie that, honest to God, should give him an Oscar nomination because he is that good in this movie. Not to mention, he shares a scene with Delroy Lindo about how they're coming back to confront their demons, and it felt like that shit got real from the dialogue alone in this movie. Also, something else that I absolutely loved about Da 5 Bloods, and I mentioned this earlier, but that is how Spike Lee directs this movie. Now, like I mentioned to you guys beforehand as well, before I had seen Da 5 Bloods, the only other Spike Lee movie that I had seen was his remake of Oldboy. How Spike Lee directs this movie, not only, like I mentioned before, does he give a great sense of camaraderie between the characters, but one thing that I particularly loved about his direction is that when it came to the themes of this movie, like of soldiers coming back to confront their demons with the PTSD, especially of what had happened during the Vietnam War, but there are a couple of things that happen during this movie. Like, there are images shown from time to time. I don't want to get into this too much, but there is a very graphic image of a baby. That's all I'm going to say in terms of that. And the image, Spike Lee puts this image in there, and it's a very, and I mean a very graphic image, but Spike Lee doesn't put it in there for exploitation purposes. He really puts it in there, I feel like, to educate us and wants us to learn more about what has happened during that war. It also felt like, to me at least, that Spike Lee was essentially taking a mirror and holding it up to us, especially during these current times. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this movie feel like it was made, well, it was released on Netflix last month. It really feels like it was made, like, literally just in time for everything that's been going on right now. He just wants us to pay attention about certain things that we may not have even known about for a long time, and honestly, it makes me want to look up certain things. Also, something else I gotta talk about when it comes to this movie as well is that this movie is gorgeously shot. Now, one thing that I loved that Spike Lee did in this movie is that he shoots this movie in 4 different formats. One of them is used not too much, but the other 3, now, I don't remember the exact aspect ratio names, but one of them is a ratio that you typically see in the movie theaters where it's, 35mm film. The second format is 16mm, to which apparently, and I cannot believe that this happened, Spike Lee had to convince Netflix to allow him to shoot in 16mm, and I am so glad that Netflix allowed Spike Lee to carry out his vision, because the action scenes that take place during the war, I feel like that they wouldn't have had the same impact if they were shot in 35mm. I believe it was the final hour. It looked like, the aspect ratio is 1.78 format, where it looks like it's almost IMAX-like. It should be IMAX-like because the footage looked absolutely amazing. Da 5 Bloods is such a beautiful looking film with great colors, amazing looking landscapes, and one thing that I liked especially when it came to the cinematography is how they shift aspect ratios. Like, there will be times while a certain object is passing from right to left, the aspect ratio shifts, and honestly, an aspect ratio change like that can probably be seen as gimmicky, but the way that Spike Lee does it, it makes it seem very stylish, and it serves a point to the story that he's trying to tell. I feel like he was shooting a very intimate feeling epic. Also, something else that I absolutely loved about Da 5 Bloods is that this is a movie that I feel like gets better the more that you watch and the more that it goes along. Now, do not get me wrong, this movie starts off very, very good, but the more it goes along, I'm telling you guys, the more compelling it gets. And another thing is that there are a couple of intense, and I mean intense, sequences. Now, here's the thing. There are some really well done war sequences where it actually has gunfire and violence, but there are other sequences in this movie that had me holding my breath. One particular involving a landmine. That was intense shit. And there were a couple of moments during this movie, guys, where I will not lie, I did tear up. I mean, the only flaw that I have towards this movie, and it's not really much of a flaw, it's more of a nitpick, it's that, like I mentioned before to you guys, the movie does start off good, but it does start off a tad slow, but really, that's it. So overall, guys, I absolutely loved Da 5 Bloods from start to finish. Not only does Da 5 Bloods have absolutely terrific filmmaking, but by the end, I was impacted on pretty much every single level. Guys, I loved pretty much everything about this movie, minus my one little nitpick, but nonetheless, guys, all in all, I loved this movie so much. It is absolutely one of my favorite films of the year, and I am absolutely going to give Da 5 Bloods a 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this makes me want to watch BlacKkKlansman and Do the Right Thing right freaking now. Guys, if you have Netflix, you are missing out on one amazing flick. Seriously, I cannot wait to watch Spike Lee's other films. Alrighty guys, so comment down and let me know below. I do apologize once more that this review is almost a month late, but nonetheless, please let me know below, what did you guys think of Defy Blood? Did you guys love it? Did you guys like it? Or did you even hate it? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Defy Bloods. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell whenever a new video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click either right there or there. And of course, until my next review, I will see you all next time.